we're never going to get out of here. That's what my assistant said to me as we entered JFK that snowy morning when a nor'easter was blowing in. It was early February. And if you don't know what a nor'easter is, you're lucky. But it's the kind of storm that sends everybody running for milk and eggs, and it ties up airport traffic sometime for days. Now, this was a big deal because 12 of my best clients were flying to meet me in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, for an event that I had planned. And my assistant didn't know what I knew, and that is, I'm a pro. I've been doing live events in my corporate life for 27 years, and it was always my policy to create a risk-free event. I don't want to risk anybody's money, I don't want to risk anybody's time or reputation. So a lot of planning went into this live event. But here we are at JFK, surrounded by our suitcases and boxes and all the things that we had gathered to bring to Puerto Vallarta for my 12 executive women who were counting on me to take them out of their busy executive lives and take them away for 5 days of pampering and deep thought and discussion and connecting and bonding, and flight after flight is canceled. My flight was not going to be canceled. Don't ask me how I knew that, but there was no way we were not, if I had to fly the plane myself, we were getting to Puerto Vallarta. Cancel, 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 she's flipping out. And I'm like, wait a second, I'm a professional, I plan risk-free events. Even if that flight had not gone out that day, I had a contingency plan. Because after all, I'm the queen of live events. So our flight comes up on the board, no delays, we board, we land, we're there, right? What could go wrong now? We got there. Well, I had a driver scheduled to pick us up at the airport, and he showed up on time just like he was supposed to and packed all our stuff in the car, and we're driving a little further than I thought we should be, but we're driving into town, out of town, and then all of a sudden we made a left turn off the paved road onto this unpaved road, filled with potholes and boulders of concrete and chickens. And it's not looking real good because the road wasn't very long, like just about 3 car lengths down was the end of the road, literally the end of the road, trees and weeds and more chickens. To our left was a building, an abandoned building, and it was hard to tell if it was abandoned in the building or tearing down process. There were weeds growing out of the windows and off the roof, and ahead of us, the chickens. And then on the left was a big grove of bamboo in front of a 10-foot-high wall with a wooden gate. So I'm a professional. I'm not worried. My client, on the other hand, my assistant, grabs my arm with a death grip and said, "Holy smokes, we're in trouble. This can't be. Where's the $17 million estate? Where's the beach? Where's the cliffside?" All we saw was this big wooden green gate and a doorbell. I get out and I push the buzzer. Nothing. The driver unloads our suitcases and our boxes, and they're all around us between the puddles and the concrete and the chickens. And I buzzed again. Still nothing. She's on the cell phone looking to make hotel reservations, and the driver's gone. So now we're standing there in the middle of this dirt road in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, with all this stuff, 12 clients flying in. I don't speak more than a word of Spanish. And I buzzed again. Buzz, 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 buzz. Well, finally, the intercom starts to crackle, and I hear Jose. "Hola, Miss Debbie. Welcome to Puerto Vallarta." And the gate starts to creak slowly to the right. And through the crack in the gate, I looked through and I saw paradise literally open up. The beach, the estate. It was magnificent, just like I had planned. Because after all, I'm the queen of live events. And I have contingencies for everything. My assistant calmed down and we settled in, and briefed the staff and got our program going. Our clients arrived to margaritas and all kinds of love and breakout sessions and exercise classes and pampering massages, and it was beyond belief. They were thrilled. They couldn't have been happier. Everything worked like it should have, as I expected, because after all, I'm the queen of live events. So the thing that really surprised me when all this took place was how much it changed all of us. I knew that we were going to be glowing from the sun and energized, from good eating and sleeping well and being hydrated and all the great stimulating conversation. But it did something else, something a little bit more sublime. We had a new energy about us. All of the women left with a new clarity or purpose. They found their voice in many cases. And it was surprising to me how much more effective my lessons were in this beautiful setting, where I was able to immerse my clients into the lesson rather than just teach them, rather than just talking through worksheets and exercises. They got to live the lifestyle, because my program was based on my book, and that was that we can all be a little bit healthier and more productive if we just learn a few basic steps about how to eat and how to sleep and hydrate. And that's what I did for them. I provided it to them, and they stepped into that moment. So after 5 days of this, they had this great energy. We lost a few pounds. We all looked really happy and excited. And we went home and stayed in touch. And as a coach, the reason that we coach is to make a difference in people's lives. That's why we do what we do. And I'd been coaching for about 6 years at that point. I coached hundreds of people to lose thousands of pounds, and that was great. But weight loss is always more than just about food. And so after keeping in touch with these ladies, and what I learned was that change happened in their lives in a great, big, profound way. One lady who was already really accomplished executive who had 6 adopted children with special needs, in addition to 3 of her biological children. She had waited and waited until all of her kids were independent and living on their own so that she could become a yoga instructor, something she always wanted to do. Another one of the ladies wrote a book. She had been wanting to write a book for a really long time, and within 6 months of our trip, she wrote her book. Another one expanded her business. Another one left an abusive relationship. One person spoke out loud for the first time that she had a problem drinking, and she was seeking treatment. Just the week that we got back, she was in a program. That's what we coach for. We coach for change. And I got such a thrill, and I was so rewarded by this whole experience that it changed me too. And the way that it changed me might surprise you, because I actually stopped coaching privately. I decided that I want to make as big an impact in this world as I possibly can. And I think that if I teach coaches how to create a risk-free live event like I just did, then they can go out and spread their message to their flock. So instead of just being one-on-one like I had been, look at how many more lives I can affect. And this became intoxicating to me, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. It kind of stole my energy away from my coaching business, and I did feel like I was cheating on my clients and my book that I had just written. But I felt so called to do this. And when I started to share it with some of my author friends and other coaches, I was really, really fascinated by how they were afraid to do these things. Like, what is there to be afraid of? Well, I was discounting the fact that I'd been doing it for 27 years, and this was kind of new to these folks. And I asked them, what are you afraid of? Like, why haven't you done an event yet? Well, I don't know if I can sell it. I don't know if I'll lose money. What if I risk my reputation and I put out this big thing and then I can't do it and I fail? You know, they had so many reasons why they weren't going to do a live event. It was just way too risky for them. And I get it. I understood that. But my question to them is, if you really want to make change in this world, then you need to come to terms with your fears and realize that you can make a huge impact to your clients if you can just step away from that fear and learn how to create a risk-free live event. And so that's where I am now. I've evolved my business to the point now where I teach other coaches how to do this type of thing. And in the end, I find that it's more rewarding for me now to know that I'm not only affecting my clients, but I'm affecting their clients, and I get to pass it down from generation to generation, if you will. So it's much more rewarding, and it's something that I really wish all of you can experience, and that is the opportunity to give back to the people that you get so much from, because I get so much from my clients, and being able to give that back to them and give them that skill is just a blessing. So my question to coaches everywhere that are trying and thinking about this and worrying about it, I mean, forget about the horror stories that you hear, because they're everywhere. I'll just give you one, for example, and this will kind of solidify it for you. I heard one story when I was asking coaches, why don't you want to do this? What are you so afraid of? And she said, well, you know, I did do that. I did have an event, and when we got back, one of my clients that was on the trip wanted a refund because she didn't have enough of a breakthrough, enough of a transformation. And because the transaction was made by credit card and this person didn't have a refund policy clearly stated, the credit card company sided with the client and refunded her all her money. You can't go into business that way. So my message to coaches everywhere is, if you have the slightest desire to do this, you have to have 3 things in place. You have to have an ironclad plan for every contingency. You need clear policies for insurance and cancellations and refunds and every other contingency that there possibly could be. And you need to be protected. You need to be protected from risk at every turn. So you need to manage and market your project so that there's no possible way you can lose money. It sounds complicated, it takes a lot of work, but it's so worth it when you see the change that you can make in people. And that's why I do it. That's why I'm called to do this. So if you're thinking about doing a live event and you're scared about it, reach out, call me. I'm happy to talk you through it, help you through it, and see if there's something that I can do to get you to the next step. It's what I do, it's what I love to do, and I'm happy to help.